The Arman Tsarukyan situation, it is sad, guys, because we are currently awaiting Ilia Topuria, maybe to get a title shot against Islam Makhachev, and it was only just a few months ago, Arman was about to fight Islam, right? And he hasn't had a fight since. For those of you guys that don't remember, let me take you back. It was a beautiful, Friday morning, and all of a sudden the weigh-ins come around, and there's some rumblings. Arman Tsarukyan's out with an injury. Arman pulls out of the fight because apparently he hurt his back last minute, beating Islam to fight Hanato, and we know the rest of the story, and that is what aged me to be the grown man I am today, because we would find out that it's not going to be all fairy tales and sunshines. All right, Arman Tsarukyan was going to get screwed. Dana White came out the next day and basically said Arman Tsarukyan, it's his own fault.
Arman Tsarukyan, what do you do with him at this point? I mean, do you automatically rebook him in the next title fight? Do you go back to the drawing board?
No. Yeah, he's going back to the drawing board.
Which, guys, even though I am kind of, being critical of this, it isn't all that bad. I mean, the same thing happened to Charles Oliveira pretty recently, actually, where he cut his eye before the Islam Makhachev fight. He was pushed the back of the line, lost to Arman Tsarukyan, so Arman kind of did the same thing to Charles here. So I'm not here to, cry about it and scream unfair, because, at the end of the day, nothing in the UFC is unfair. We've seen even worse situations than this. But Arman Tsarukyan has revealed that the UFC is disrespecting him, guys. Yes, Arman Tsarukyan is standing out against the UFC, guys, because you guys will recall, he was originally very supportive of the UFC, trashing him immediately right after he pulled out of that Islam fight, right? He said that he was willing to fight anybody. I mean, this was the day of the event, guys. I think a lot of us remember this. We were all kind of, well, at least me, I was very surprised the Arman Tsarukyan was so okay with what Dana White said. He said, I agree with Dana White. Once my back heals, I'll be ready to prove I'm the true #1 contender by taking on anyone they put in front of me. And this was retweeting, what Dana White said. And then he says at Charles Oliveira, 5-round main event, let's do it, or 5-round co-main event, whatever he meant. Kind of handled the whole thing with class, guys, to be honest. For something that happened that was pretty tragic for him. I mean, this guy was, literally like hours, or I guess less than 2 days away from a title shot, right? I mean, and now he's just back to the line. God knows how many fights. Maybe he wins his next fight. Who even knows if he's going to get the #1 contender shot? So I thought he handled it with class, because at the end of the day, Arman Tsarukyan coming on here saying it's unfair and crying, that's not going to help his case. If anything, the UFC is probably just going to be even more against Arman. So I actually thought this was pretty smart. But fast forward a couple months, I mean, I gotta say, guys, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, and I know that a lot of people have conspiracy theories on Arman Tsarukyan, guys. I don't know. I feel like he potentially could have missed weight, and I don't know if he was injured. And this is the reason why, because we all remember, right, Justin Gaethje obviously was fighting Rafael Fiziev, and he tweeted this out and said Arman and Charles understandably said no. Max and Dustin understandably said no. Moicano got the call and said no. Obviously no understandable there, but we remember this, right? Justin Gaethje was supposed to fight Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker pulled out, and then eventually Rafael Fiziev stepped in. But guys, remember, Arman Tsarukyan tweeted this out. I didn't say no. I accepted immediately and asked for 160 pounds catch weight 11 days out from the weigh-ins. UFC said that wasn't an option. And guys, if you have a bad back injury that you're pulling out the day before the fight, guys, this is literally about like a month and 10 days or so. January 19th, right? And then we go here, I guess he healed. I mean, it's just weird to me that you would pull out. Like, I would think if you're going to pull out that soon from a fight, it's probably something serious, right? I mean, you already went through a full training camp. You already brought your coaches there. And if that's the case, I doubt you could accept a fight a month and like 10 days later or something like that. So that was a little fishy to me. He also said, I'm the true #1 contender, ready to prove it against anyone, but how am I supposed to do that when everyone else just wants to fight on paper? Charles and Justin can sit and wait, or you can step up and earn it. And he's pretty adamant, Justin or Charles. That's the two names he wants, guys. Well, Arman Tsarukyan was not happy this weekend. As I said, he came out, talked a lot of shit about the UFC and about how they're treating him behind the scenes. So let's look at it, guys. And then at the end, I'm also going to give an update on Ilia versus Islam. What do we know about this? And I'm going to be honest, guys, I found out some bad news about it. So Arman Tsarukyan did an interview talking about Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, about them potentially fighting, as well as his situation, right? And this is a brief interview. First of all, this guy, he looks really sad. Like, I think this might have been at the end of his grappling match or something like that, because he looks sad and sweaty. I don't know what the hell. But let's listen to what he has to say, because I can understand from Arman Tsarukyan's perspective why he's a bit frustrated.
Помимо себя составить конкуренцию Исламу, или это тоже бой из разряда, что типа с предсказуемым финалом?
Как раз Топурия может предоставить ему проблемы. Топурия, я и, в принципе, все в этом весе данный момент, кто может хороший бой дать Исламу. Потому что я не вижу, там, Гейджи это просто легкий день для Ислама. Там, не знаю, кто там еще. Оливера он уже бил. Кто остался? Все, в принципе. Оливера проиграл мне, и он побил там номер 10 и хочет бой за титул. Потом Гейджи проиграл Холлоуэй, выиграл Физиева, там номер 12 или номер 11, и Физиев вышел за 3-4 дня до боя, показал равный бой, и он хочет драться за титул. Но я не знаю, это цирк какой-то.
So you could obviously see here, Arman Tsarukyan is not happy. He feels like that, Justin doesn't deserve a title shot. Oliveira doesn't deserve a title shot. Ilia could give some problems. That's the only person he said. So he's pretty much probably thinking, and rightfully so in my opinion, look, why would you give Gaethje a title shot? Why would you give Oliveira a title shot? I beat Oliveira, and I deserve a title shot more than Gaethje, and I agree with that. But Arman Tsarukyan does reveal who he was actually offered to fight, guys, and it is a little crazy to me. So here's what Arman said, all right, guys? Said, speaking of Sports 24, Arman Tsarukyan revealed that he was offered a fight against the number 7th ranked Mateusz Gamrot. It's about that, I don't know what this word is. Maybe I need to be up in my vocab, but I assume this is, I guess, what they're calling Arman. I don't know. Declined, and he is not happy with the offer that was presented. He apparently said, I am number 1. Why should I gift the number 10? Nobody gave me such a gift when I was in the top 5. The UFC has angered me that they offered me such an opponent. For them, this is disrespectful towards me. I deserve better. I'm ranked number 1. And you can't disagree, guys. I'm going to be honest, guys. You really can't disagree with Arman Tsarukyan, because say what you want. Yes, I know some people think they should not get a title shot because he, pulled out of that fight. But I understand it is such a long line. You need to get this thing going. But to give him Mateusz Gamrot, guys, I think the fight to make is Justin versus Arman. Do I think that he pulled out of the fight because he missed weight? I honestly don't know. I definitely think it's a big possibility, and that is where Arman Tsarukyan has to kind of take accountability and say, if you are going to be, radio silent pretty much as you pull out of a main event, you owe the fans explanations. I mean, there were people that actually paid tickets. Give some explanation, and you know what? Fine. If you don't want to give some explanation, you want to be private, that is your choice, but you cannot be mad at that point when people make their own assumptions and people judge, because we have no other choice, right? We're humans. We're going to think. We're going to, have thoughts in our head. It is up to you to say, hey, guys, look, I actually have this proof. Like, this is what happened to my back. Here's, like, a little x-ray, or here's, some sort of MRI scan. I don't know how it works. And like I said, I do want to show you guys some bad news about the Ilia and Islam fight. There is a tweet that has been put out that is getting me a little worried, okay, guys? There's a picture of Islam and the human rhinoceros himself, and he makes a caption kind of alluding to certain things that might be happening, and if you're believing him at his word, yeah, you're probably not happy. Ali says, when the king speaks, everybody have to listen, and the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. Which, if we're making comparisons, I don't think you gotta be Albert Einstein to understand. Islam is the king, right? I mean, he's the champ, and then you have Ilia Topuria, who is talking a lot of shit, making a lot of noise, obnoxious probably towards Islam. Islam's probably not happy with some of the things that he said. Apparently, he's the weakest one in the room. I'm thinking this tweet means, look, I'm the king, I'm the boss, we got the belt, what we say goes. I don't care, no matter what the fans say, what the company says, what the fighters say. No, I say that I don't want to fight a featherweight coming up. I'm choosing that. So does that mean that Islam Makhachev potentially is going to fight International Fight Week, maybe against somebody else? I could see Islam fighting Charles. I could see him fighting Justin. International Fight Week, guys, is soon. We are very close to the date. I think at this point, we're going to wait till this weekend. I think we're going to get it announced this weekend. If Bilal wins, then I think we're going to get Islam versus Ilia. If Bilal loses, I think we're going to get Charles versus Ilia. I would much rather see the Islam-Ilia fight, because that is more of a super fight. While I feel like the Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria fight, well, I think it's a big fight, and I think it's going to be popular. I think at the end of the day, that is just a fight that is pure chaos. That's going to just be amazing. And I guess we'll find out soon. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you want to see this fight? What fight do you want most out of this whole lightweight situation? Is it Justin, Islam, etc.? Let me know. Check out my last video where I broke down the James Krause situation. There is a massive update on that UFC gambling scandal going on. You guys are the best fan base to MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.